So you surrender to your real identity, which means when you get connected to your real identity, you get guided by the Viveka Buddhi. Viveka Buddhi is the Buddhi originating from the direction, originating from the soul, directly from the soul. So you get connected to the Viveka Buddhi, or you completely surrender everything to your real identity, which is infinite, which is not hindered by any selfishness, any constriction at all. That is the Jajna Bhavana. That is the Samatva Bhavana. So immediately your mind will become free, it will become sky-like, it will become spatial. Sarvani karmani, whatever you are doing, you are killing or saving or whatever you are doing, everything you do, getting connected to your Viveka Buddhi, real identity, without any selfish motive. That means even if you kill Duryodhana, you should not think any enmity with Duryodhana. You have to kill him because it is part of your war and you have to defeat them. In the process, if Duryodhana has to be killed, you will kill. Not out of the enmity you are suffering from. All these 13 years you have hosted the enmity towards Duryodhana. If you can do it, then you can kill your Bhishma also. This impersonality is such that you will be able to kill your most beloved grandfather, most respected teacher, and the most dreaded enemy also. Because it is the two sides of the same coin. Do you get it? That impersonality that is called. That will happen when you are sannyasa. How do you do the sannyasa? How do you do the surrender? Adhyatma chetasa. By being connected to your soul. This adhyatma in 8th chapter, 3rd verse, he has defined. Svabhavo adhyatmam uchyate. Arjuna asked that what is the meaning of adhyatma? In the 8th chapter, 3rd or 2nd verse, he is saying Svabhavo adhyatmam uchyate. This adhyatma, spirituality we say. Actually in Sanskrit it is adhyatma vidya. That is what we call spirituality. That is defined in Bhagavad Gita as swabhavaha. Swabhavaha means our own self. Now the self has two expressions. Self has two expressions. One is common to everybody, that is the universal self, that self we are talking about. That has no karma in it, no color in it, nothing. No fragmentation, nothing. That is the Brahman, that is the Paramatma, that is the self. That is the true Swabhava, that is the real Swabhava of us. But there is another Swabhava which is different for different persons. That is when getting connected to your soul, when surrendering to your soul, when guided by your soul, whatever you are doing, then it becomes your Swabhava. According to your personality, it will be different. I will give you example. Suppose Ramakrishna and Vivekananda. They, in their real soul and in their realization, is it not the same universal soul? There is no difference at all. But whatever Ramakrishna Dev did as a free activity, that is his Jivan Mukti activity, and whatever Vivekananda did, are they not poles apart? Each knower will be different in his active state, in his personality, in his behavioral state. Each knower, there will be some similarities, but by and large there will be large difference. Each knower will act according to his personality, his intelligence and his growth, his upbringing, his birth. According to that they will work. Their activities will be different. But when it is not motivated by desire, then it is called Swabhava. That is, that desire is not hindering, or Triguna bondage is not hindering. He is a Gunatita. Whatever are the gunas which have made his personality, he is functioning according to that, his free nature. Am I clear? That is when he is not, his activities are not clouded by any desire, not clouded by any delusion, not clouded by any sangha. Then whatever his personality is made of and whatever the nature around the circumstance, surrounding situation needs, according to that his personality will function. Guna guneshu vartanta iti matva na sajjate. He will not cling to that at all. He will function independently, absolutely freely. That is also called Swabhava. In 18th chapter he will discuss it in great detail. That is called the karma he does with that, that is called swakarma. His corresponding dharma is called swadharma. So swabhava karma, swadharma, swakarma, they are all related. It is all when we are connected to the soul. That is, we are guided by the viveka buddhi, or in other words, you are doing everything with the freed of desires, freed of delusion, freed of the bondages created by the three gunas. So that is what is meant by sanyasya adhyatma chetasa. By your cheta, by your mind, intelligence getting completely anchored in the Atma. You surrender all your karmas in me. Nirashihi, nirmamaha. Don't expect anything. Asha is expecting something. Expecting na hope, desiring something or hoping something. And nirmama means, oh, this is mine, this is others, etc. No constriction of mamatva, that this is mine and they are others. I will do it only for us. You will do wherever it is to be done for the welfare of the society. Even if you have to kill your own brother, you have to kill. If you have to kill your own grandfather, you have to kill, thinking not because of any other thing, but for the welfare of the society. I always give the example during the Naxalite period, that when the police people were going to catch hold of they were trying to catch hold of the Naxalite, the inspector leading the team, they found that his son is there in front. The team leader there also was his son. What will he do? Being a loyal police. Now he could not rise to the occasion like Arjuna, but he was not corrupt. So he left the whole thing on his second person and he went away from there. That my son is there, I cannot do anything, I am going away. You do whatever you like, kill or catch hold of him or whatever you do. Why? Because then Arjuna also was not able to kill Bhishma. Even after so much of Bhagavad Gita and all, also his arrows were going and falling after hitting his armor. Then finally, Sri Krishna said that, Arjuna, I thought that you are a good fighter, but I don't think anything you can do. I will go and kill Bhishma. He went running with the Sudarshana Chakra. Then Arjuna ran and fell at his feet, saying that, no, 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 you don't have to do anything. I will fight. So much of bridling was necessary. It is not easy. So, nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvaraha. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyaadhyatma chetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigata jvaraha prabuddham vimuktam vikaradihinam prasannam sada nityabodhasvarupam param nishchalam nirgunam sarvarupam bhajeham sadanusmarami pranomi. Hari. That's it. Actually, whenever these special days come, like Guru Purnima, Buddha Purnima, or Buddha's enlightenment, like that, Guru Purnima is also, on Guru Purnima day, Vyasadeva started writing Brahma Sutra, then Mahabharata, so many are there. They are all, when we think about it, it gives us a feeling of blessedness, and that is the benefit of it. Our benefit depends on the feeling of blessedness. Suppose somebody is staying in the company of a knower. Unless he or she feels blessed about the company, the benefit will not be there. When we feel that we are with a knower who is this, that and all, about some idea about that, and we value it, this is the evaluation of that. When we give proper value, as much value we give, so much will be the benefit. So this blessedness is very important. Whenever these festivals and other, not festivals, this kind of days, they remind us of the knowledge which has been there in our country for ageless, from prehistoric times, nobody knows how far back. So this is coming down to us by all the people who did their sadhana and realized it. This should give us a feeling of blessedness. We will chant from 30th verse of 3rd chapter. I have explained it yesterday, we'll just chant. Mai sarvani karmani sanyasyaadhyatma cetasa nirashir nirmamo bhutva yudhyasva vigatajvaraha. Yesterday I explained in detail this, how is this surrender done with the Adhyatma Cetasa. What is the meaning of Adhyatma? What is the meaning of Adhyatma Cetasa? Everything I explained yesterday. Now this Sanyasya means offering everything, surrendering you can say. Samarpana Buddhi, surrender. This is the most important word in spirituality. Even in, I said earlier also, the Patanjali Yoga Sutras, it starts with what is yoga, how to attain it, etc. Then it goes on to discuss what are the different kinds of vritti. Vritti means whatever formations take place in the consciousness, they are vritti. Any thought, any emotion, all those are vrittis. So what are the different kinds of vrittis? Klishta vritti, aklishta vritti. Klishta vritti and aklishta vritti, I will try to explain these things also, they are very suggestive. Explaining everything, more or less, after going to the 23rd sutra, he is saying, Ishvara pranidhanatva. Pranidhana means samarpana, means surrender. Ishvara pranidhanatva. That means you do pursue whatever they have said up to the 22nd verse, defining everything this way, that way, this vritti has to be removed, you have to think in this manner, that manner. Saying that he is saying, or you simply surrender to the Lord. But the problem is we are not able to surrender and we don't know what is surrendered. That becomes the problem. Otherwise it is Ishvara Pranidhanadva. Because again in, I think it is 45th sutra, after discussing samadhi, how to attain it, what are the different kinds of samadhi, savikalpa samadhi, nirvikalpa samadhi, all those things, he says that samadhi siddhir ishvara pranidhanat. Samadhi siddhihi ishvara pranidhanat. That means siddhi means success in attaining samadhi is through ishvara pranidhanat. That means through surrender. Why? Because I am saying repeatedly that this, our tendency to look for something different from me, that is the ultimate, that is the first and the last hindrance we have in this sadhana. On the path of yoga. Yoga means that we have created an artificial image of us, the personality, small personality. That has to get fused in the universal real identity. That is called yoga. So in this path, the repeated hindrance comes from we are given to that smallness and look for something for our fulfillment, something for our enjoyment that is different from me. So that effort is making us small. Even when we are looking for self-realization or samadhi, we are looking for something different from me. This tendency to look for something else, this becomes the hindrance at that point. Although that was the support first. Otherwise, everything else will not be able to reject. That eagerness to realize will take away everything else. But later on, that itself becomes the hindrance. This tendency to see something different from me. When we surrender, then what happens? This tendency is treated. No more I don't know anything, I don't want to have samadhi, I don't know where lies my auspicious goal. Let Lord or Guru or the mantra, whatever, let Lord take me wherever He wants. That means I am not looking for anything at all. So the consciousness becomes absolutely free. When you are able to do it, the consciousness is not becoming small and looking for a second where it gets engaged and try to reveal that. That's a dual process. The non-dual realization will come only when we have left everything. The whole world is forgotten. Mind you, when we forget the whole world, we have to forget our personality also. Otherwise, the whole world is not forgotten. You will forget the whole world and think that I am there, I have forgotten the whole world. It cannot happen. You are part of the world. So when you forget the whole world, means everything is forgotten. Then the consciousness does not have anything more to reveal. It is not getting engaged in revealing anything. It is not taking the shape of the microphone. It is not taking the shape of a thought, good thought, bad thought. No shape it is taking. Then it reveals itself. So he says, Samadhi Siddhir Ishvara Pranidhana. There also the surrender comes. The surrender means surrendering all effort. As the other day I spoke from Kathopanishad. Yada panchavatishthante jnanani manasasa buddhishtana vicheshtati tamahu paramam gatim. That all the faculties are still, they are not functioning, but they are not asleep. Even the buddhi is not having any effort to analyze or know what is happening, what has happened, is this samadhi or not. No effort at absolute effortlessness. That is the supreme state. But that is also a state, that is not the knowledge. So he says that by getting connected to your real soul, the inner real identity, Adhyatma Chetasa, you surrender everything to me. I said, I am reminding again, when Krishna is saying Mai, that is you surrender to me, it has two meanings. You can, Arjuna could have surrendered to Krishna as his guru. That is one way, easier way, provided he has that kind of a guru bhakti. Otherwise it is when Krishna is saying Mai, means he has already identified himself with the universal self. It is, for Krishna it is not different, for everybody it is the same. So it is equally, you can surrender to your own real identity. That is from where the Viveka Buddhi is coming. So you surrender to your own real identity. Both are meaning the same. In the first, there is still the duality with which, with your bhakti, you have to overcome that. In the second, you are overcoming the duality by getting into the self. Then 31st verse. Ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto anasuyanto muchyante tepi karmabhihi ye me matamidam nityam anutishtanti manavaha shraddhavanto anasuyanto muchyante tepi karmabhihi. Now here he says that ye manavaha shraddhavantaha anasuyantaha me idam nityam me idam matam nityam anutishtanti te api karmabhihi muchyante. That means those who are here, some words are there which we have to focus on. He says that those who follow my instructions, whatever instructions we have given, with Shraddha and without Asuya, these are the two words, I will explain. With Shraddha and without Asuya, they can get over the bondage created by the karma. That usually whatever karma we are doing with a desire motivation, that creates the bondage. That bondage they can overcome, they can outlive that bondage if they follow my instructions in Bhagavad Gita, whatever instructions they have given so far, or in this chapter, whatever instruction he is giving. Now this you will find again and again in various places of Bhagavad Gita. This Shraddha word is given lot of importance. It appears in 4th chapter, 17th chapter, 18th chapter. 17th chapter is called, the name of 17th chapter is Shraddha Traya Vibhaga Yoga. That is 3 kinds of Shraddha, Satviki, Rajasiki and Tamasiki. And that, the whole chapter is on that. In the, I think it is in the 17th chapter, 3rd verse. That is, he is saying, let us see, that 17th chapter, 3rd verse. He says, Sattvanurupa sarvasya Shraddha bhavati bharata Shraddha mayoyam purusho yo yat shraddha saeva saha. See, he says that according to the constitution of the being, here sattva means of which we are constituted, the elements of our being, we will have the shraddha. Now shraddha generally in our languages etc. we use for respect, attention etc. Actually I would like to use the shraddha, there is no English translation, there is no exact translation in English. So shraddha is better to use as shraddha. And you will know, the first day I had discussed the sadhana chatushtaya, that is the main fourfold sadhana in the spiritual pursuit. There shraddha appears as the 6-fold internal wealth there. That is viveka, vairagya, shamadamadi, shatka sampattihi, mumuksha. These are the 4-fold. Of which this shamadamadi, shatka sampattihi, the 6-fold wealth. In spirituality always the wealth will be inner wealth, not outer wealth. So they are shama, dama, titiksha, uparati, shraddha, samadhana. There shraddha comes at the 5th stage because of its importance and maturity. This shraddha is actually, if you analyze properly, the best translation will be the value you attach to anything. That will cover up everything. Suppose you value something as supreme, naturally you will be very attentive to it, you will have great respect and attention towards it. Is it not? Suppose somebody values money as the supreme in life, his mind will always be on money. Suppose somebody values fame as supreme in life, he will always think how to become famous. Somebody loves power and his shraddha is for, his mind is after, he values power. He will like to have power in social life or wherever. So whatever we value most, we are fully attentive to that. So in spirituality the shraddha has to be for, shraddha is defined as shastreshu guru vakyeshu bhakti shraddha nigadyate. Shastreshu guru vakyeshu bhakti shraddha nigadyate. In Vedanta, shraddha is called the bhakti. And again bhakti, what is bhakti? It is an intense dedication to it. So the intense dedication towards the Shastra Vakya, whatever has been spoken of in the scriptures and whatever has been instructed by the Guru, both will be same generally. Guru will interpret the Shastras, otherwise we might be misled by the Shastras also, not understanding its instructions. So in the Shastra, words of Shastra and the instructions given by the Guru, when we have intense dedication, that means the bhakti. When we have the bhakti, that is called the shraddha. That means here, what is the reason that it is called shraddha in Vedanta? Because we are always calling, suppose God, forget about Vedantic realization or self-realization. As long as we are religious, we call God as the supreme. Is it not so? But have we given God the supreme position in life? Generally we give God the last position, like the police and others. No? When we are in difficulty, we call God. Otherwise we don't call God. Is it not so? Kya doubt hai? It's like police and military. When we are in trouble, we will call God. So we don't give God the supreme position. Otherwise, anything else comes in, some marriage, some examination, or a new job. Those are always getting higher importance in our life. Our Shraddha is for that. That is why the puja or japa or whatever the Guru has said to practice, that is given the last importance. If doing everything I have time, तो 5 मिनट बैठ लेते हैं, नहीं तो नहीं हो पाता है. पहले तो स्वामी जी जब दीक्षा दिए थे आधा घंटा बैठते थे. स्वामी जी बताए हैं 1 घंटा, लेकिन उसको हम काट के आधा घंटा कर लेते हैं हमेशा. तो आधा घंटा बैठते थे. अभी तो जिस दिन समय होता है 15 मिनट बैठ लेते हैं, कर लेते. बाकी हम चलते फिरते कर लेते हैं, चलते चलते कर लेते हैं. दैट इज वाइल एक्टिंग आई एम डूइंग द जापा. स्वामी जी बोले हैं ना इंटरेक्शन साधना, तो इंटरेक्शनल साधना करते हैं. इंटरेक्शन ही होता है, इंटरेक्शनल साधना नहीं होता है.